the charterer wants the vessel to engage with more responsibility. To there, and who has ordered the vessel to go to Ukraine in that particular period of disturbance in the zone. So somebody blames BSC, the ship owner. Actually, ship owner, to my opinion, is not the one deals with the commercial matter of when the ship is on time charter. It's totally is a responsibility and the control of the charterer. Nevertheless, okay, so that depends again on the charter party whether that was covered in that particular, like it has gone to war zone, for example. I said before, normally war zone is not included in charter party, it is an exclusion. The normal charter party also is an exclusion in normal insurance policy, which does not contain the war risk unless one is decided to put that war risk or war insurance into the policy. So it depends on what has happened. The facts will come out, then we'll probably know where the ship, Bangladesh Shipping Corp, stands as far as the recovery of the loss from the ship. So this is what is there in time charter. The ship owner keeps the technical control of the ship, and commercial operation lies mostly in one word with the charterer. And we'll see details what cost is, who is bearing the cost and the responsibility. Okay, so these are certain charter party format we discussed about, bulk time charter party or NYP charter party. They went through ASBA time, which is the American Association, Shipowner Association of তারাও এর মধ্যে ইনভলভ আছে, জেন টাইম and GenCon. Gen time is a time charter, GenCon হচ্ছে war charter party. That we'll see. We'll discuss later on details of two charter party, GenCon and time charter party. And bareboat charter party is just a little more what is time charter party. Mostly they are all same, except that the control fully goes to the charterer, who becomes the disponent owner of the vessel. So tanker trade, this tanker, they also have a different liquid charter party, different company. We said this is what we have gone through last time. So let me just quickly go through this slide. And some company has their own in-house charter party, and some are there. And we discuss about the rider clause, that normally what is happening when the ship is fixed. Ship normally, আমরা কখন বলি যে ship has been fixed, যখন basic information between the charter and the ship owner is agreed upon, especially the freight, or it is a time charter party, the higher rate, and the basic information like your ship particulars, the loading capacity, and ship's draft, ship's air draft, ship's consumption, fuel, diesel oil, and water consumption, water capacity, bunker capacity. The basic যেগুলো খুব important সেগুলো execute করে গেলে, then it is said the subject to so and so charter parties. That charter party, they both agree on a certain standard charter party, subject to some addition and some omission or deletion from the charter party that normally is reached to an agreement. যখন বেসিক চার্টার পার্টির সাথে এগ্রি করে ফেলে শিপ ওনার চার্টারার, তখন বলা হয় that the ship has been fixed, subject concluding of the charter party with some negotiations. So that's how it is working in the field. Okay, so rider clause, we know what is rider clause is, and we'll go to the next one. Now, tanker charter party, in voyage charter party or time charter party, time charter party, what is the remuneration for the ship owner is a higher rate per day. Okay. So normally we say 15 days higher per day so much or pro rata for a fraction of a day and 15 days in advance. So that is what it has been concluded as far as the remuneration for the ship owner is concerned. Voyage charter party ki hoy, either it is done by tonnage per ton, if it is a heavy cargo, or if it is a light cargo, or sometimes it goes on volume basis, part CFT or part CBM at the freight ton. So, but in tanker business, the freight is indicated by probably world scale. Before I go further, let me see. তোমরা তো আন্ডারগ্রেড এগুলো পড়ে আসছো নাকি? Anyone? Faisal, undergrad তোমরা চার্টারিং ব্রোকারিং পড়ে আসছো না? না, it's a new subject for
স্যার এটা নতুন সাবজেক্ট স্যার।
নতুন সাবজেক্ট, আচ্ছা আচ্ছা
স্যার।
Okay. So tanker business, when you go in the market, you want to charter a vessel and you want to know the freight. Okay, so that is not indicated by CBM or by higher day, that is indicated by world scale. And if you see we'll say 5 world scale, 6 world scale, 6.5 world scale. And what is that world scale? If you look at this slide, I've given little details on the background, so that this is a new nomenclature that you are coming to know. So world scale is a unified system of establishing payment of freight rate for given oil tankers cargo for a particular cargo for a particular route. Vary kore. World scale was established in the November 1952 by London Tanker Brokers Panel on the request of the British Petroleum and Shell, the BPC, Petroleum Corporation and Shell Oil Company, as an average total cost of shipping oil from one port to another by ship. So a large table was created as a result of certain data they collected for a long period. So they could establish certain standard rate for a particular route on a particular cargo on a particular size of tanker. Okay, just hang on this, just one moment. Hello. Islam, Babu,
স্যার স্যার আপনার মাইক্রোফোনটা মিউট।
I'm sorry. I just, a phone call came and muted that. What I was trying to say that the later on, initially the world scale was the concept was created by the London Tanker Broker Panel, and later the Americans, they also joined the American Tanker Association schedule. Together they merged, and then they studied on this how to declare the freight. Average freight is not confirmed, but that's a guideline from the market. Table include the average cost of 320 voyages. They have included that of different combination of 1 load and 1 discharge port to 5 load and 5 discharge port. So you can see the lot of studies and analyzing and calculation was done. And world scale is produced by World Association incorporation for the Americans and for the world class stations, London for the rest of the world. So any tanker market, they when they offer the ships freight, they offer that in world scale, so and so. The freight for a given ship and voyage is normally expressed in percentage. So whatever is that percentage, মানে যদি বলে যে 1 to 100%, if the world scale says 6.5, that means 6.5% or 100%, that means $6.50, in other words, you know. So, but again, that is not firm. That is initiated by the broker with the interested party, and then you can of course negotiate a bit. And we have done that in several occasions when we used to bring this fuel oil, heavy fuel oil for Bangladesh Petroleum Corporation, and Bangladesh Shipping Corporation is to charter the vessel for BPC. And we had many times have managed to increase the fare, what was offered initially in the world scale, you know, because you know, this market is fluctuating with the so many variations are there. Availability of ships, availability of cargo, the political situation, turmoils like in Ukraine now and Russia. You know, if you go there, the rate is very, very high. It's a high risk zone, and there's a lot of demand in the world market now. So naturally, you will get a good rate for the time being. So it will depend on political situation, on the supply and demand situation in the market, and availability of ship as well. Normally tanker jahaz spot market থেকে charter করা হয়, in either in voyage or time charter, whatever is suitable. So freight rate is expressed in percentage in world scale, supposed to reflect the market demand at the time of fixing. Following at some examples, negotiating a price to pay, the above table is referred to as the world scale. Should be 1 to 100. 100 means or 100% of world scale. The actual price negotiated between the ship owner and the charter can range from 1 to 100% and is referred to respective as a world scale 1 to world scale 1000. 100 should be there, not 1000. And depending on how much loss the first is willing to take on that voyage and how much the latter is willing to pay. So obviously this is all depends on how good negotiator you are, how good convincing negotiator. You have to be convincing to the party that you're negotiating with a lot of convincing reasons, logics, and then of course after all you finally conclude. So the thing is that now we know that the liquid cargo freight unit is world scale. Okay. And there is a basic difference of world scale, and this is what is in the market. Yokohama, Adelaide, US per tons 10.6 world scale offer kora hoyse. That distance will depend on the distance, how much distance you are, because after all you will also calculate your loss and profit when you deal with that, isn't it? So this is just একটা ফিগার দেওয়া হয়েছে, টেবিল দেওয়া হয়েছে যে কি ধরনের ফ্রেট বিরাজ করছে ওয়ার্ল্ড স্কেলে এবং কত ডিস্টেন্স কভার করতেছে। and this is of course you can say the distance very short, but from Yokohama to Aden 13,037 miles for Shiba is very close, which is Philippines, 50 nautical miles, and the freight is existing freight 2.9. And for your information, Bangladesh Shipping Corporation শুধু অ্যাঙ্কারেজ থেকে মাদার ট্যাঙ্কার থেকে জাহাজ লোড করে আমরা দুটো ট্যাঙ্কার দিয়ে তেলটা ভিতরে নিয়ে এসে রিফাইনারিতে ডিসচার্জ করি, you will be surprised we get around $5 per ton, isn't it? $5, $4.5 to $5 from BPC. And BPC earns a lot of money in that small passage from outer anchorage to the refinery berth. So again, that is a monopoly. Of course, there is no other people there to compete with that business. BSC can alone survive with that money. BSC doesn't need 100, 200 vessels, because more vessels they have, there will be more loser because of incompetency in operation. Like, so I don't blame incompetency. I mean, there is no BSC তে এখন যেসব আছে personal, they are not, to my knowledge, none of them are very well shipping commercial man to run it. But this is the only business that BSC has. That's why BSC is surviving even with the 2 ships. Yes, because that is the BSC makes the maximum money, benefit, profit, net profit from those 2 vessels. ওই 2টা vessel তো আমাদের ফ্রি, মানে বিএসসির জন্য it's a freehold ships. There's no liability on that 2 ships. No certificate is there because they don't maintain any MARPOL certificate, nothing at all. So far I know, I don't know it has changed or not. যারা বিএসসি তে এখানে থেকে থাকে তো হয়তো they can put some comments on it. এখানে কেউ আছে শিপিং কর্পোরেশন চাকরি করে? Any of one of you? No. কেউ নাই, is it? আমার কি এখানে কেউ আছে না সব চলে গেছে? Yeah, Faisal.
স্যার আছে স্যার সবাই।
Am I talking to sort of a
না স্যার সবাই আছে স্যার।
সবাই আছে?
স্যার আমরা স্যার।
I see. তোমার সময় একটা আওয়াজ দিও যাতে আমি বুঝি না আছে।
স্যার
probably talking to a কি বলবো wall. Okay. Charter parties, তোমার charter party একটা ক্লজ থাকে, sublet clause charter party-তে। So এই sublet clause-টা তোমরা, if you are in this business, you should take care of this clause, because if you allow the vessel and have a clause in the charter party as a sublet clause, and the main charterer, when he finds himself in sort of a trouble or something that he's lacking to procure cargo when he has taken the vessel on time charter, so he will be looking for somebody else to, carry on with the business so that he doesn't lose too much money on that ship. But when you do sublet, the main charterer and the ship owner, they are in contract. Okay, and when you sublet the vessel or subcharter the vessel to another party, then that subcharter and the main charterer are the contracting party. The ship owner is not there anymore. The ship owner has certain complex situation to deal with that situation. But that's why I'm saying that when you have that clause, you cover your interest, that you get the money that you want, and the ship is given to somebody that who will maintain the ship. If you give somebody Dick and Harry and they will use the ship back and forth and without taking any care of the owner's interest, তাহলে তো সমস্যা হতে পারে। So that clause overall charter party, outdated charter party have to be taken care of, because charter party keeps on not rectified, keeps on being amended time to time with the requirement of the day and the time, and of course with the interest of the ship owner and the charterer both, because when they find the charter party, some of the charter party are favoring one party more than the other party, and they want certain changes in the charter party, so they keep raising their voice and etc. etc. And of course you have to take care of that when you charter a vessel, there is always possibility of dispute. And then the question of litigation, which is a very expensive hobby, expensive practice, complex practice, and nobody wants to give any sort of a consideration or any sort of a কি বলবো ছাড় দিতে চায় না এটার মধ্যে. So anyway, so you got to see that this is being taken care of when you are in the chartering business. These are expensive things to deal with. Okay. So charter, I think we have spoken about that, isn't it, last class? Shipowner charterers, charter party and the bills of lading. Okay, important difference. Charter party কি জিনিস শিপওনার চার্টারের মধ্যে হয় for the entire vessel. voyage হলে part vessel হতে পারে voyage charter, or entire vessel হতে পারে, বা time charter সম্পূর্ণ বা জাহাজটাই time charter চলে যায়. Typically used by liner operator or large shippers. Parties of a CP are likely to be equally bargaining power, no subject to any mandatory international convention. No need to protect one party against the other. So both party is equally wants to win-win situation. Bill of lading কি হচ্ছে is a evidence of contract. আগে বলা হচ্ছে it is a proof of ownership of the cargo, and also it is a title of ownership of the cargo and carriage of goods. And another thing is what? Say, what is it? This is receipt of cargo, তাই না? তিনটা জিনিস বলা হয়েছে যে bill of ladingটা কি জিনিস? এটা হচ্ছে receipt of cargo, that আমরা কার্গোটা বুঝে পেয়েছি, then you issue the bill of lading based on your made receipt, and also it is a contract of carriage. The terms and conditions are overleaf of the bill of lading, and also it is a title of ownership of the goods. হ্যাঁ কাজ হয়ে গেছে কি করছেন ডাল আছে নি ডাল নাই আচ্ছা কালকে রাঁধি দেন যান Okay, so the role of BL is international trade. Charter party is not something that required mandatory, but bill of lading is a mandatory requirement. That is a difference, another big difference. Regulated by mandatory transport of conventions. Higgs-Visby rule has got charter party, isn't it? Carriage of goods act by sea. Protection of small parties against unfair contract terms. So this is a bill of lading. Okay, remember, main tinta jinis, it is required by law. One of them is the Higgs-Visby rule. The other one is the Carriage of Goods Act by Sea. And it is a contract of carriage. It is a receipt of cargo. It is a title of ownership of the cargo. And it is, of course, in a line trade, you have to always issue the bill of lading. Also, when the ship is on charter, sometimes the charter party may also have the Higgs-Visby rule in the clause of charter party. Then you have to also issue a bill of lading. But at that time, the ship master, the ship owner has to ensure that whatever is the bill of lading, as it is a contract of carriage, is similar to what the charter party has, the clauses. Otherwise, there will be problem. Okay. But of course, bill of lading, statutory documents, international documents, so this will carry probably more value. Depends again. কথা হচ্ছে যেগুলো সব ডিসপিউটে চলে যায় হ্যাঁ somebody says no the charter party prevails, somebody says no bill of lading prevails when the dispute arises. Again there is a palta palti যুক্তি তর্ক চলে. Okay, bill of lading is a merely receipt of goods. The CP governance relation between ship owner and charter. Hello,
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
wa alaikum assalam.
Sir, can you go into previous slide, sir, if possible?
Yes,
Sir, can you give me an example, sir? Protection of small parties against unfair contract terms, sir. An
Okay.
example, sir.
Example of?
Sir, last point,
তোমার কথা শোনা
protection of small parties. Yes, sir.
Protection of small parties means the bill of lading যেহেতু একটা international document, it has got international convention required by the international convention, so this gives you more protection. See, this is a standard charter part bill of lading clauses. These clauses are mostly adopted from the various convention that is in effect. So it is a protection for the small parties. That's why it is saying that. Okay. Unfair contract হওয়ার কোনো সুযোগ না, because this is a standard charter bill of lading তে তোমরা negotiate করতে পারো এই charter party, understand? But bill of lading you cannot negotiate. Bill of lading is already been laid down as per the standard international requirement. You got it? So,
Thank you, sir.
as a result, it gives you anyone who is not well advanced with the business, gets protection out of it. The big parties can always go for dispute and deal with it. Small parties, they're not that influential. They're not that solvent party, and not maybe not that much experts in the business. So they have a better safe guide when they carry cargo or on the based on bill of lading. Understand? Bill of lading merely a receipt of goods, বলা হয়েছে, and charter party is a contract between the ship and charter. So that is another difference. Third party endorsee, I think we have endorsed that, discuss that clause, endorse কখন করা যায়. As you know, some of the আমরা তো আগে বাড়ছি না মনে হয় যে some of the bill of ladings are non-negotiable, some are negotiable bill of lading. যেটা জাহাজের ক্যাপ্টেন পায়, that is non-negotiable copy bill of lading. He cannot negotiate off that cargo. He doesn't own that cargo. Okay. The original bill of lading is initiated by the ship master or his agent or the owner's agent, and so bill of lading can be endorsed where the bill of lading is stamped as a negotiable bill of lading. Okay, negotiable bill of lading. Non-negotiable, you cannot do any transfer of goods to one party to another. It's only to be delivered to the person that has been named in the bill of lading as a consignee or the cargo owners. But negotiable hole, you can deal with that cargo. Rather you can sell that cargo when the ship is at sea to a party that if you find you're making money out of it. Okay, so that option you have. Excuse me, just hello. Salam. আচ্ছা, আমি আপনার ফোন দেব, আমি একটা ক্লাস করতেছি, আমি ক্লাস করে আপনার ফোন দিতেছি। ওকে Okay, so that is clear with you about the negotiable and non-negotiable of lading and endorsing. Yes. Any confusion on this issue? যদি যে পার্টি কার্গোটা এনেছে and he wanted the ship owner to issue a negotiable bill of lading, সে যদি ওই কার্গোটা জাহাজে থাকতে থাকতেই সমুদ্রে থাকতে থাকতেই সে কার্গোটা যদি আরেকজনের কাছে বিক্রি করে দিতে চায়, তার জিনিসটা পণ্যটা সে সেটা বিক্রি করতে পারবে, সেখানে তার নাম এবং কনসাইন নাম সে ওখানে এন্ডোর্স করতে পারবে, বিল অফ ল্যাডিং করে সই করে দেবে, then he becomes the consignee or the owner of the cargo and also the notifying party when the ship arrives in the discharge port. Okay. Cargo carried on chartered vessel. What is the carrier? Whom can a cargo owner sue, Laplace, charterer, or ship owner? Cargo carried on a chartered vessel. Just for example, who is the carrier? Who can cargo owner sue? Who can the cargo owner sue? Okay. যখন জাহাজে চার্টার জাহাজে পণ্য ক্যারি করা হয় তখন চার্টার ইজ রেসপন্সিবল. ওকে, সো ইটস ভেরি সিম্পল. In general, demised charter party, carrier is the demised charterer and not the ship owner. Obviously, we'll talk about demised charter party or the bareboat charter party. Sometimes oneke bole je what is the difference between demised and bareboat charter party? I don't find there is nowhere in black and white that what is demised charter party, what is a bareboat charter party. But sometimes I feel that both are long-term charter party, no doubt. Both charter party gives a complete ownership to the temporary ownership to the charterer. But demise, ultimately it is going to be scrapped or it is going to be purchased by the charterer. Okay. The charterer hires a vessel on a long-term basis leading to purchase of the ship. Or etake bola jay je purchase hire or something, or purchase to charter or something, hire purchase or purchase hire, whatever you can call it. That means after the certain period of time, not time means several years, the ship owner, the charterer will ultimately take in custody of the vessel with full ownership. And that means I call it is demise. That means it's gone. But sometimes the bareboat charterer takes a vessel for 7 years or 10 years, and thereafter they returns the vessel to the ship owner. Normally it is maximum time it is leading to sale or finally leading to purchase. CP, not a demise. Bill of lading by on behalf of the master buying the ship owner as contracting carrier. The ship owner at that time is actually the charterer, okay, in the demise charter. But BL signed by the master binds the charterer. When in demise charter party, if the master is asked to issue the owner's bill of lading, then of course the master has to take consent of the owners in that particular case. Here, true owners. Right? Otherwise, the charter may have their own bill of lading. Okay? If it is clear from the circumstances that master signs as agent of the charterer and not the ship owner, or if the BL holder is led to believe that he is contracting with the charterer and not the ship owner, that is, the charterer operates a well-known liner company, whatever company may operate it in bareboat charter. Bill of lading issued as charter party often includes provisions such as freight and all other conditions as per the charter party. All conditions and exceptions, all the terms, conditions, clauses, and exceptions. So, BL under a charter party. Okay, so ekhane kono contradiction, kono conflict hওয়ার সুযোগটা নাই. এখানে they have taken care of that. That bill of lading doesn't differ much from the charter party. So, by having this kind of word, they are covering their interest and avoiding any conflict. That freight and all other conditions as per the charter party. All conditions, normally bill of lading e kintu freight er lekha thake. Ami age bolechi je bill of lading e একটা মুখ্য লাইনার বিল অফ ল্যাডিং কিংবা যে কোনো বিল অফ ল্যাডিং এ there is a box freight. Okay, there is a box, tonnage of cargo, condition of cargo, freight of cargo, consignees, notifying party, etc. সবকিছুর মধ্যে আছে, and other clauses. The freight clause ওখানে যেখানে বলা আছে যে freight either it is prepaid or postpaid or 50% in the load port, 50% to be paid in discharge port, depends on how they negotiate with each other. So captain master has to be very careful that in a place when there is a bill of lading issued and the cargo is discharged, he should make sure that the freight is completely being recovered before the cargo is being released, or else there may be a problem in recovery of the money. So এখানে তিনটা জিনিস পরিষ্কার করে যে all condition exception যে চার্টার পার্টিতে আছে that to be applicable to the bill of lading, all the terms condition clauses and exceptions as well. Objective to make the terms of CP in so far as possible applicable to BL holders who are not the charterers. Okay, BL to jar kache jay সেটা another person, যে কার্গোটা ইম্পোর্ট করছে, যে কার্গো যে বায়ার. So to avoid any sort of a conflict, that is very important to look into if you are one of the person dealing with this kind of situation. Okay. Some of the details that are given in the charter party. I was talking about the basic information that being exchanged between the charter and the ship owner, which ultimately is reflected in the charter party. Name and IMO number of the ship, date of commencement and end of the charter. Okay, that should be in a voyage charter. You don't have to worry. This is a voyage. After the voyage is complete, the charter party is concluded and seen. But in time charter party, of course, you have to have the time frame, 3 months, 6 months when the charter party ends. Port where the charterer begins. আমি এখানে আসবো, which is called laycan. You may have heard the name of that clause. Charter party, the clause থাকে laycan clause, which is basically gives the date or the time duration during which the vessel, the ship owner, has to place his vessel in the location that is stipulated in the charter party within that time frame of laycan. Okay, otherwise problem may arise. So port where the charter will end. Of course, এখানে আমি একটু প্র্যাকটিক্যাল সাইডটা বলি, যদি if you are all working in the, some of you understand dealing with the chartering of vessel, এখানে কিন্তু একটা নেগোসিয়েশনের ভিতরে একটা রোল প্লে করে চার্টারার কিংবা চার্টার ম্যানেজার working on behalf of the ship owner, the charter manager chartering or something. কিরকম, এখন একটা জাহাজ খালি পড়ে আছে চিটাগাঙে. Your ship has discharged cargo. You have no other cargo to carry as a ship owner of Bangladesh Shipping Corporation, for example, or other ship owners, HRC, or you name any other party. Now you are looking for a charterer. You have floated your ship in the charter market. You are looking for some charter to charter a vessel and engage your vessel so that you can earn money. Now some charterer shows interest and he is negotiating with the shipping corporation manager that his terms says that he's looking for such and such ships, such and such capacity, such and speed, size, draft, etc., consumption capacity. But delivery, he said, delivery of Singapore, for example. Okay. Now, just the লক্ষ্য করে আমি কি বলতে চাচ্ছি যে সে চাচ্ছে জাহাজটাকে, জাহাজটা সে সব ঠিক আছে, but his point of argument is that I want delivery of Singapore. Okay. Now your ship is empty, ready for employment, lying in Chittagong anchorage, for example. Now you have two choice. You can agree to his proposal straightway. Okay, off Singapore, তাহলে আমাকে করতে হচ্ছে কি জাহাজটাকে আমাকে সিঙ্গাপুরে খালি পাঠাতে হচ্ছে on our own account, on your account or whatever. So you have to spend 3 days or 5 days rather, 4.5 days to Singapore. The ship is at your cost, consumption, salary, everything, provisions, water. So there may be a negotiation. Okay, there. Maybe you as a ship owner or chartering manager, you said no, everything is okay, delivery Chittagong anchorage. And you insist that no, I want delivery Chittagong anchorage. If you agree, or otherwise. এখানে negotiation একটা বিরাট scope রয়ে গেছে, depending on the situation in the market. Is there any other ships available of that kind in that particular area? Is there big competition taking place? Blah blah. এসব তথ্য যদি কাছে থাকে, then you can argue and insist no of delivery Chittagong anchorage, or at the best 24 miles off from Chittagong towards Singapore, or in Malacca State somewhere. At least whatever time you can save, that goes in your favor. So এখানে negotiation করে এটা, I have seen that it can make a lot of improvement on that for the company. I have done it, but BSC never appreciate. You rather than going to Singapore and give the delivery of the ship. Did I make you understand what is আমি কি বলছিলাম এই চলে গেল। এক্সক্লুশন গেল, ইনশাআল্লাহ এই যে fuel consumption. কনজাম্পশন কত ডিক্লেয়ার করা হয়েছে চার্টার পার্টি, তাহলে তো there will be a problem. The charterer will find some loopholes to make a claim. তাই না? For example, আমরা ডিক্লেয়ার করেছি as a ship owner when we have given the basic information to the charterer when the ship was being fixed, that my consumption per day is, for example, 20 tons. Speed 17 knots. Okay, speed 17 knots or 15 knots, let's say 15 knots, and consume 20 tons. That I have declared, plus minus 5% maybe, or plus by half a knot. Speed ক্ষেত্রে half a knot, and consumption ক্ষেত্রে fuel ক্ষেত্রে maybe half a ton. Okay, or 0.25 ton, depends again. এটা রাখতে হয় because exactly when you say 15 tons per day, that is difficult to maintain that way the consumption. It may vary half a ton this way or that way. Similarly, the consumption may vary half a ton this way and that way. The speed may be vary half a knot this way and that way, plus minus. So you keep some kind of the limit. And suppose the company has declared 15 knots, 20 tons consumption, and the ship is doing 14 knots or 13 and a half knot, and consumption is 22 tons. What happens then? The charterer is immediately going to claim money, or is going to offer the ship. Yes, because the ship owner is not maintaining the terms and condition of the charter party. So immediately charterer will be conscious that, well, now I can do play some game with the ship owner and try to reduce my cost. So shipmaster must know what is the speed declared, the consumption declared, so that he can maintain that here with the concern of the chief engineer, can maintain that consumption and the speed. You cannot go beyond the speed that has been agreed upon the charter party. Then there will be claim, palta claim, and finally litigation, then arbitration, then a court of law, etc., etc. So to avoid that, whether, of course, you must understand the weather, how to who will be in charge to navigate through different weather conditions, the recording, which is their routing থাকবে এখানে চার্টার পার্টিতে কোন জাহাজ সেল করতে পারবে, you cannot go, you can deviate from the ship's normal routine, normal course of normal standard course between the place of departure and the port of arrival. You have to maintain certain standard route. If you deviate, there will be claim. There will be off-hire from the ship. There will be off-hire if the ship engine breaks down, because when we declare the ship's speed and consumption, and per day she will make so much of distance cover, and if they don't do that, of course ship will be either be off-hired by the charterer, or there may be claim against the ship owner. So these are the things that one has to be very careful. So if you are a ship owner and you are putting your vessel on charter, you must think about that. So what kind of speed you declare that you can maintain, what kind of consumption that you declare that you can maintain. Okay, what kind of crane capacity you want to mention, you have to maintain. What kind of cargo capacity, deadweight you want to maintain, make sure you maintain that. Okay, so these are certain things will come into litigation. লেকেনের কথা বলছিলাম, just for those who are not aware of this. লেকেনটা কি জিনিস যে যে চার্টারের মধ্যে থাকলো একটা ক্লজ লেকেন 15 মার্চ চলে গেছে, সে 1st of June to 3rd of June arrival Singapore. লেকেন 1st June to 3rd of June of Singapore port. তার মানে কি আমাকে ওই 1st June থেকে 3rd June এর মধ্যে by of maybe time also given there, noon 1st to 3rd noon, you have to be there with the ship within that time. Not only arrive there physically, your ship has to be in all respect ready to load the cargo. Okay? In all respect. So what you have to do, you have to give an NOR. We're coming at the NOR business, but Laycan for the time being is a time that you agreed upon by the charterer and the ship owner to place the vessel within that specific period of time. What happens if the ship owner fails to arrive within the Laycan that has been agreed by the ship owner and the charter as per the charter party? And then the charter, normally the charter has the option either to cancel the agreement charter party or decline the charter party, or they may be negotiated mutually and agreed upon. Okay, শিপ ওনার বলতেই পারে যে দেখো আমার এখানে সমস্যা হয়ে গেছিল, আমার জাহাজটা পাঠাতে দেরি হয়ে গেছে, half a day or maybe several hours, and can we agree upon a new Laycan, just difference of half a day or some several hours or so and so. Normally it is agreed upon by the charterer and then it is okay. But the fact is the charterer has a right to cancel the charter party. That's of very important things, okay? And if it is negotiated mutually and both may have interest on that, if the charterer has a some kind of loopholes to escape from that agreement, and if he has another ship somewhere at a cheaper rate, he may say, sorry, I cancel the charter party since you deliver. Again, then you are at a loss. So অনেক কিছু ডিপেন্ড করে সিচুয়েশনের উপরে, how you are going to deal with the case. Okay, so Laycan বোঝা গেল। লেট টাইমটা কি বলা হচ্ছে এখানে? The agreed number of hours it will take to load or discharge a ship. তার মানে আমাকে ওখানে একটা লেট টাইম ক্লজ থাকবে যে late time load port, late time discharge port, both together. Okay. Late time, or you can sometimes call it late days. Say 7 days, 7 working days, late time. 7 working days, late time or late days means that if it is applicable for load and discharge port, then total আমার কাছে 7 দিন আছে যে কার্গোটা আমি, এটা কিন্তু টাইম চার্টার is not a clause, it is a voyage charter. Okay, remember, late time, Laycan, voyage charter, time charter, so you have given the ship on a time charter, so you forget about everything, you're getting money on a day-wise basis, day or pro rata. But voyage charter, you got to cover up your interest. That is important. Okay. Delivered within limited time, you lose money as a ship owner. So the ship owner has to take that risk into consideration and think about that, putting the late time clause and Laycan. Laycan for the interest of the charterer mainly, and also of the ship owner, but late time is definitely ship owner's interest. Okay, so if I say 7 working days late time from after ship is ready to load or discharge, 7 days you have to load your cargo and discharge the cargo, whatever cargo you have specified in the contract, the charter party. Okay, so that means it can be separately agreed upon. The late days, load port ato, discharge port ato din, load port ato din, or all together so many days load discharge port. So you can then vary load port je tomar jodi ekdin save korte paro, discharge port you can utilize more one day, etc. But if you can save some lay days or lay time from the given time, allowed time, you can get some money out of the ship owner. We'll come to that. What is it? So if the cargo takes more time than agreed, the charter pays the ship owner an agreed amount per day or per hour of the delay. এটাকে কি বলা হচ্ছে? Demurrage. Okay. তার মানে আমি যদি লোড পোর্ট আমি 3 দিন আমাকে অ্যালাউ করা হয়েছে as per the charter party, আমি যদি 3 দিন 1 ঘন্টা ইউজ করি, তাহলে আমি 1 ঘন্টার জন্য সে আমাকে ক্ষতিপূরণ দিতে হবে চার্টারকে। Okay, that is what it is like. If they take 4 days, 1 day demurrage তাকে দিতে হবে। And what is the demurrage amount? It is already stipulated in charter party. Charter party বলা থাকবে যে demurrage per day $10,000 or pro rata. Demurrage. So demurrageটা কখন আসবে? ও লেট টাইমে যে টাইমটা নির্ধারণ করা আছে তার থেকে সে যদি বেশি ইউজ করে ফর লোডিং এন্ড ডিসচার্জিং, তাহলে ডেমারেজ ক্লজটা অ্যাপ্লিকেবল হবে। ওকে, আবার একটা কথা বলা থাকে স্ট্যান্ডার্ড রেগুলেশন, so once the vessel is on demurrage, always on demurrage. Remember that. Once the vessel is on demurrage, always on demurrage, no matter then what happens. For example, জাহাজ 3 দিনের লোডিং পোর্টে লে টাইম ছিল, 3 দিন শেষ হয়ে গেছে, জাহাজের লোডিং শেষ হয়নি, জাহাজ লোড করছে, জাহাজ আরো 6 ঘন্টা বেশি নিয়েছে কিংবা একদিন বেশি নিয়েছে। ওকে, সে বেশি করে বলি 24 ঘন্টা আরো বেশি ইউজ করেছে। 24 ঘন্টার মধ্যে এমনি লে টাইম ক্যালকুলেশন যেটাকে বলা হয়, লে টাইম ডেমারেজ ডিসপ্যাচ, এটা ক্যালকুলেট করা হয়, একটা লে টাইম ক্যালকুলেশন আছে। ওই যে আমাকে যে টাইমটা অ্যালাউ করা হয়েছে ওই টাইমটা হিসাবটা করতে হবে। ওর মধ্যে অনেকগুলো ক্লজ আছে, যেমন সানডে হলিডে এক্সক্লুডেড, এটা কাউন্ট হবে না ফর এক্সাম্পল। ওকে, কিংবা বৃষ্টি হয়েছে কাউন্ট হবে না, ওই টাইমটা লে টাইম যখন ক্যালকুলেশন করা হয় ওই টাইমে কাউন্ট হয় না। দ্যাট ইজ ইন্টারন্যাশনাল প্র্যাকটিস। ওকে, জাহাজের ক্রেন নষ্ট হয়ে গেছে, জেনারেটর ব্রেকডাউন হয়ে গেছে, কাউন্ট হবে না। এগুলা দেখতে হবে যে ওগুলা কিন্তু উইল গো ইন দ্য ফেভার অফ দ্য চার্টারার। ক্যালকুলেট যখন করা হবে তখন এটা পরিষ্কার করা হবে যে হাউ দিস ইজ বিং ক্যালকুলেটেড। সো কিন্তু ওয়ান্স অন ডেমারেজ ইজ ডেমারেজ, যখন ডেমারেজ একবার অ্যাপ্লিকেবল হয়ে যাবে, কথাটা জাস্ট টেক এ নোট, if the vessel, as I said, if vessel once in demurrage is always on demurrage, the quote unquote once on demurrage is always on demurrage. এবং যখন ডেমারেজ শুরু হয়ে গেছে তারপরেও যদি ইঞ্জিন ব্রেকডাউন হয় কিংবা বৃষ্টি আসে কারণে বন্ধ হয়ে যায়, কার্গো আর কাউন্ট হবে না। কনসেপ্টটা হচ্ছে যদি অন্য কোনো কারণে ডেমারেজ না হতো তাহলে তো জাহাজটা কমপ্লিট করতে পারতো কার্গোটা। ডেমারেজ হয়ে গেলে তখন তো একবার হয়ে গেলে তখন তার ডেমারেজ কনসেপ্ট আর এগ্রিমেন্ট হচ্ছে না, বিকজ দ্য টাইম ওয়াজ অ্যালাউড অন ডেমারেজ। ওইটুকুর মধ্যে ডেমারেজ আসেনি, কিন্তু ডেমারেজ শুরু হয়ে গেছে, তারপরে যদি কোনো কিছু এরকম কোনো অবস্থার অবতারণা হয় তাহলে সেটা আর ডেমারেজ চলতেই থাকবে। সোজা কথা, ডেমারেজ চলতেই থাকবে। If the cargo work takes less time than agreed upon, সাপোজ 3 দিনের কথা বলা হলো যে লোড পোর্টে সে কার্গো বয় চার্টারার 2 দিনে কার্গো শেষ করে দিল, সে একদিন সেভ করে ফেললো ফ্রম দ্য অ্যালাউড টাইম, যে টাইমটা তাকে অ্যালাউ করা হয়েছে। So he has saved time. So that means he deserves some remuneration for that. Like ship owner gets demurrage, he has saved time for the ship owner, so he must get something for that as well. So ওটাকে বলা হচ্ছে কি dispatch. Dispatch হচ্ছে কি the time, all time saved is called dispatch. All time saved from the lay can or lay time, from the lay time or lay days. Okay. And dispatch মানে এটা কিভাবে দেওয়া হয়? Demurrage অঙ্কটা চার্টার পার্টিতে মেনশন করা থাকবে। Demurrage amount এগ্রি করা হয় থাকে আগেই। When you're concluding the charter party, demurrage say for $10,000 per day or pro rata half dispatch. Okay. That means যেটাই demurrage হবে, demurrage যদি $10,000 হয়, dispatch হবে per day $5,000. Okay. Demurrage half dispatch. Hope I made it clear. And then you have to calculate the dispatch by the lay time calculation. দেখতে হবে কত demurrage আসছে, কত dispatch আসছে, কিংবা demurrage আসেনি, dispatch আসছে. So then you have to pay some money to the charterer for the time he has saved for the owner. Oof. Number of hours and amount of money paid are in accordance with the charter party. Delays that are caused by the factors that are the fault of no one involved in the charter are not subject to demurrage or dispatch. Rain during loading, a weather sensitive cargo, that is cement or grain, or a strike among shoreside workers which should not be subject to demurrage of dispatch. But once the demurrage starts, then it will not be valid anymore. Okay. But before demurrage dispatch starts, if this situation arises, of course, you can exclude that time. তারপরেও যদি আবার demurrage শুরু হয়ে গেল, তারপরে আর এটাকে you cannot avoid any demurrage. The charter cannot avoid any demurrage for that. Okay. But something has happened in between, no fault of either party, that time will be excluded from the calculation. অফারের কথা বলছিলাম যে জাহাজ, মানে এগুলো আমি চার্টার পার্টির অনেকগুলো ক্লজ এখানে আলাপ করে ফেলতেছি, যেহেতু প্রসঙ্গক্রমে চলে আসলো। অফ ফায়ার কাকে বলে হয়? অফ ফায়ার হয় কখন হয়? যখন জাহাজ চার্টার পার্টির বৃত্তান্ত অনুযায়ী কাজ করছে না। ওকে, টাইম চার্টারের জাহাজটা আছে, আমরা পার ডে আমরা জাহাজ ভাড়া দিয়েছি অ্যাজ এ শিপ ওনার, এন্ড জাহাজ সমুদ্রে গেছে, ওই যে বললাম স্পিড মেনটেন করেননি কিংবা কনজাম্পশন বেড়ে গেছে, অফার করবে না, ক্লেম হবে। কিন্তু জাহাজ যদি জেনারেটর ব্রেকডাউনের কারণে জাহাজ যদি স্টপ হয়ে যায় সমুদ্রে, অনেক সময় প্রায় হয়, নট ভেরি আনলাইকলি, সঙ্গে সঙ্গে চার্টার করবে কি, the moment the ship is stopped due to the engine breakdown or generator breakdown, charter will send a note to the ship owner that the ship is off hire from so and so time until the ship is again ready and fit to resume the voyage. Okay, আবার ভয়েস যাত্রা শুরু করার আগ পর্যন্ত ship is off hire. That means ওই টাইমটা সে আর চার্টার হায়ার দিবে না। Quite logical, because the ship owner has failed to give the ship for that particular time. So তখন করে কি, জাহাজ ship charterer immediately notice দিয়ে দেবে যে ship is off hire from the time that, of course, master has to inform the charterer as well as the ship owner. Master cannot hide that fact from the charterer, though he may try to do so, because আমার ব্রেকডাউন হয়েছে, জাহাজ বসে গেছে 7টার সময়, আমি হয়তো চার্টারকে বললাম না শিপের ইঞ্জিন ব্রেকডাউন 10 o'clock, আমি লগ বুকে 10 o'clock লিখে রাখলাম, 3 ঘন্টা আমি শিপ মালিকের পক্ষে নিয়ে চলে গেলাম। বাট এগুলো যখন প্রপার ক্যালকুলেশন হবে তখন ধরা পড়বে, বিকজ হাউ মাচ ডিস্টেন্স ইউ হ্যাভ কভার্ড, what is the distance has been declared, what is speed has been declared. If you are a expert charterer, you can always try to come out with the fraud that has taken place in the business. Okay, but should not do that. It is unethical. Because if the ship has engine broke down at 3 o'clock, 3 p.m. afternoon, it is 3 p.m. Why should you say 5 p.m.? Just for your knowledge, sometimes it happens. The ship owner takes care of the ship owner's interest maximum more than the charter's interest. That's why the master's responsibility is very critical in the time charter. He's supposed to look after both interests, owner's interest, the charter's interest. যাক এখানে আসি, এখানে কি বলা আছে, if a ship does not meet her requirement in terms of the charter party, she cannot maintain the agreed speed because of machinery problem or fire. She suffers an engine breakdown and a crane breakdown. The ship is detained, for example, for technical reason that is responsibility of the charterer of the ship owner. The ship will be off-hired immediately. The charterer can put her off-hire. This means that she will not earn money during this time. She will be off-hire. Some events do not count as time off hire, that is the ship diverting to assist a vessel in distress. It is an international regulation, for example, for your knowledge, that only deviation is allowed by the master of a ship on a route to any destination only in case of saving life at sea or person in distress or ship in distress. Okay. If he gets a distress message, or if he sees someone is in the water looking for asking for help in a distress situation, only then the vessel master can deviate the ship from the normal course of the ship. Okay, so the question may be asked that when a ship master is allowed to deviate from her original course and avoid any claim by the charterer, only in this case. Okay. Otherwise, if there is any deviation, for example, আমি যাচ্ছি মেডিটেরিয়ান দিয়ে, আমি ভাবলাম যে একটু দেখে যে মালটা কেমন আছে, মালটার ক্লোজে গেলাম, ক্লোজ কোর্সে গেলাম, একটু আলেকজান্ড্রিয়ার কোর্স দেখবো, ওখানে গেলাম, গিয়ে ঘুরে টুরে আমি জিব্রাল্টার দিয়ে পার হলাম. That is not allowed. That is not allowed. That deviation will be on the account of the ship owner. And charterer immediately, if they come to know, they will claim money out of it. Did I make you understand? So some of you may be ship master and doing this, I don't know, but you should be careful. NOR, very important for ships for commercial interest. To look after the interest of the ship owner. When a ship has arrived at a given place to start the charter, the holds or tanks must be ready to receive the cargo. I mentioned before that the laycan mentions that you have to be there within a certain time and a certain location, whether it is an anchorage of Chittagong port or it is in Singapore, Singapore, or in Malacca State somewhere, off certain coast, etc. You have to be there. Okay. So if you are there at that particular time, say for example, Singapore. So you have to Singapore outer anchorage, and that is the location given on the charter party, that you have to be there for an arrived vessel. For an arrived vessel, we'll see what is arrived vessel is. And then only if you arrive there and just sit down, the clock will not tick for you. You have to give immediately on arrival on that particular location, serve an NOR, notice of readiness, to the charterer's agent or the charterer. That I'm ready. I'm sorry. Notice of my readiness to the charterer or his agent, so that your time starts clicking. Some of the charter party may stipulate that you have to NOR within office hour. See, if your ship arrives at night and everything is closed, you serve NOR. So some people may not like it, some charterer. So that time he cannot utilize the ship. Or maybe can utilize, but they don't want to do that. So they put a condition that NOR has to be served in office hour. And if you serve an office notice NOR, it will be counted by following day noon. থাকতে পারে. It depends again negotiation, how you're going to negotiate, then when, after, or it is immediately on serving the NOR. Once I have tendered my NOR, notice of readiness, I've served or tendered, my time starts clicking, clock. My lay time starts. Okay, তখন আমার loading period count হয়ে যাচ্ছে তখন। আর যদি বলে 6 hours after serving NOR, or 6 hour NOR has to be served in office hour. So এগুলা দেখতে হবে on the terms and conditions of the charter party. That, or if you are one of the negotiator, how you are negotiating with the NOR condition, কি থাকবে। Okay, but NOR has to be served in order to start counting your time. They should be clean, dry. The jahaz should be clean, dry. The master issues the charterer a notice of readiness that ship is ready to load. So not only that you serve NOR, you must be in all respect ready to load the cargo. But next point, which the charterer sends a surveyor to check the condition of the ship. If he is satisfied that the condition of the ship is satisfactory, the surveyor will inform the charterer and instruction will follow that loading can start. So that means when you declare it's not enough, you must make sure, but you can also have a ship to ship surveyed by your surveyor as well. There can be a joint survey by your ship owner surveyor as well as charter surveyor. Sometimes it is done, joint survey, it is a cost minimize হয়ে যায়, cost share হয়ে যায়, survey cost. And then they work together and amicably they give a decision. So even I give a notice of readiness on arrival, load port, as per LACAN, as per charter party, and sub NOR. That is not good enough, but I must make sure my ship was ready in all respect to load the cargo. When his surveyor comes, charter surveyor comes, he finds no fault in it. Said, okay, the ship is okay. All right. If the surveyor finds that the ship has deficiencies and cannot start loading, he will list the deficiency and refuse to allow the loading to start until the deficiencies have been put right. As a matter of interest, you have to be careful. You have offered, and before you serve the NOR, your ship is all respect ready to load the cargo and also in proper location as per the charter party. এরকম হতে পারে আমি সিঙ্গাপুর অবস্টে পৌঁছাবার 3 ঘন্টা আগে আমি বললাম yes I have arrived vessel and it's serve the NOR. তাও হতে পারে অনেক সময়। এগুলো আর্লি ডেজে এগুলো হতো, আমরা 6 ঘন্টা আগে NOR সাব করে দিলাম before arriving on the location as per the LACAN, so that owner gets 6 hours benefit out of it. Okay. But if the charterer is clever, he may try to ensure that whether the ship is in that location or not by VTS system that is available, by AIS now. Nowadays is very difficult, but it was possible, which we have seen in our time. Okay. আগে সাব করে দিলাম before arriving in the location. Matter of interest, এটা বললাম তোমাদেরকে। Okay, so I hope this much we are understood. We'll be here till 5 o'clock, then we'll break, end the class because আসর নামাজ সময় হয়ে যাবে, ঠিক আছে না?
জি স্যার।
ওকে ফাইন। আমি একলা কথা বলতেছি তো টায়ার্ড লাগে।
স্যার
হ্যাঁ
স্যার আসি স্যার।
তোমরা একটু আসে আসে একটু বল, একটু কথা বললে তো আমার জন্য সুবিধা হয়। আমি তো
আমরা সবাই শুনতেছি স্যার।
ফাঁকি দেওয়ার সুযোগ পাই, আমি গল্প করলে টকলে বা আমিও কিছু জ্ঞান নিলাম তোমাদের কাছ থেকে। তোমরা আর ইউ এনি ওয়ান অফ ইউ ইনভলভ ইন চার্টারিং? I believe so. One of you are doing in chartering business or involved in chartering department in some company. Any one of you?
স্যার আমাদের আকিস শিপিং থেকে মুস্তাফিজ এবং স্যার আসিফ বিন হোসেন স্যার ওনারা ডাইরেক্টলি স্যার চার্টারিং এ আছে স্যার।
ওরা ক্লাসে আসে না? নাহলে তো ক্লাস নিতে পারে আমার হয়ে দিয়ে একটা।
স্যার আছে স্যার, সবাই উপস্থিত
আছে?
জি স্যার।
মুস্তাফিজ আর ইউ দেয়ার? কই কথা বললে তো কথা বলে না। আর কি বললা মুস্তাফিজ আর কে?
স্যার আসিফ বিন হোসেন স্যার।
Asif, Asif. Asif, are you there? Here. Asif, Mustafiz, any one of you on the line? না ওরা তো সব চারের সম্বন্ধে জ্ঞান জানে, চলে গেছে, জ্ঞান দিতে যাচ্ছেন, শেয়ার করতে চাচ্ছে না। They have knowledge on chartering but they don't want to share it, is it? আসিফ এবং কি নাম বললাম, মুস্তাফিজ। কি কেউ না এখানে? দেখতে তো আমার লিস্টে আছে কিনা এখানে। আচ্ছা পরে দেখবো। কি ফাইসাল, are they there? Present or absent? Make them absent for today.